I'd like to begin by thanking the Australian Islamic College for inviting me once again. Mr. Aftab, Malik, always great to see you. My state parliamentary colleagues, dignitaries, I can be here all morning acknowledging each and every one of you, all the teachers, community leaders, faith leaders. Thank you very much for being part of this very important conversation. It's a privilege to be here and to hear from Mr. Aftab about this important paper. So thank you so much for having me. And before I begin, I would also like to extend my acknowledgement to the custodians of this land, the Whadjuk Noongar people. Sovereignty has never been ceded. It always was and always will be Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander lands. Now, how can healing begin? A question that I think every Australian should consider spending some time thinking about. Not who is to blame, not who should speak first, but how can the healing begin? Because healing is not something that happens on its own. It takes courage, it takes honesty, and above all, it takes people showing the willingness to be there for one another, even when the conversations get difficult. The Bondi tragedy shocked our entire nation. In the months that followed, many Australians experienced fear in different ways. Jewish Australians saw a disturbing rise in anti-Semitism. Muslim Australians continued to face the reality of Islamophobia. Our communities felt vulnerable, anxious, and unheard. These experiences are real. I know we have felt it. They deserve to be acknowledged, and they deserve a response that brings us together rather than driving us further apart. Australia's greatest strength has always been our diversity, and we've heard it multiple times from various speakers this morning. Not just diversity of identities, but of ideas, rooted by the prevailing pursuit of the fair go. This idea of the fair go, I think, is uniquely Australian. This is our shared value. We are a home to people of every faith, every culture, and every background. If you listen to those who seek to divide, a particular Queensland senator in particular, you would think multiculturalism and even Islam were new concepts that people are finding difficult to navigate. However, Indonesian Muslims were trading with Aboriginal people for hundreds of years, perhaps before any Europeans gazed upon the land. And we know that Afghan Cameleers were pioneers across Australia's vast deserts, making sure remote communities across the continent, particularly here in WA, were able to receive much needed goods and services. Now, these stories should be remembered and prized as a marker of the beginning of our community's contribution to this special place. After all, knowledge and truth-telling is the most effective defense against hate and division. As a parliamentarian and as a new mum, I have the great honour of meeting Australians from all walks of life every single day. One of the things I have learned throughout my time in public life is that vast majority of Australians want the same things. They want to raise their families in peace. They want their children to feel safe at school. They want to practice their faith without fear. And they want to belong. That is not a Muslim aspiration or a Jewish aspiration or a Christian aspiration. It is an Australian aspiration. They want the fair go. This is what unites us. So when we're thinking about healing, we shouldn't lose sight of the fight for the fair go, because we're all on the same side in this pursuit. Unifying and rallying behind a common cause is, of course, easier said than done. And as Australia's Special Envoy to Combat Islamophobia, Mr. Malik has taken an incredibly important and, dare I say, tasking responsibility. His work reminds us that tackling prejudice isn't only about responding when incidents occur. It's about creating the conditions where open dialogue and understanding are continuous work in progress. While we welcome the government's commitment to implementing 35 of the 54 recommendations, much more remains to be done. We urge the Prime Minister to confront Islamophobia with the same urgency and determination afforded to every other form of hatred and racism. Australians deserve consistency in the fight against hate. There can be no double standards. Thank you again, Mr. Malik, for your leadership, and to the Australian Islamic College for hosting today. I congratulate everyone who contributed to this important work, and I look forward to the conversations ahead. Thank you.